Circling back to one of our top stories, it is the final day of campaigning in Malaysia. Let's take the temperature from Terengganu with Saiful Bari Ismail. Saiful, has the Islamic Party PAS run an effective campaign in this election to see a strong showing?
Well, the effectiveness of campaigning for PAS over the past 2 weeks has been mixed. The party which governs Terengganu, Kelantan and Kedah is contesting 64 parliamentary seats and is targeting to win at least 40. Political infighting within the Barisan Nasional coalition has raised the belief that PAS and Bersatu, which make up the Perikatan Nasional coalition, could attract more Malay voters who may be tired of the bickering inside UMNO. However, during campaigning, there were controversial remarks made by Perikatan Nasional members that could sway voters. The Council of Churches of Malaysia has slammed Perikatan Nasional chairman Muhyiddin Yassin for claiming that Christians in Malaysia were in a conspiracy with a group of Jews to Christianize Malaysia. In a recent rally, Muhyiddin warned that a group of Jews and Christians were plotting for Malaysia to be ruled by their proxy Pakatan Harapan. There's also been a slight rift between PAS and Bersatu. PAS Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan recently said that Perikatan Nasional could form the next government with Barisan Nasional after GE15. Muhyiddin replied saying Taqiyuddin has no authority to discuss forming a new government with anyone. Taqiyuddin has since said he was quoted out of context and maintained that the coalition's aim in contesting the GE15 was to form a government on its own.
Our Saiful Bari Ismail reporting live from Terengganu there.
Let's bring in Clara Lee. She's in Johor for us. Clara, with former Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin at the helm, is Perikatan Nasional a force to be reckoned with in this election?
Well, analysts that I've spoken to say that Muhyiddin has done a good job in providing a third alternative, particularly for voters who might not be fans of Barisan Nasional and who don't necessarily want to vote for Pakatan Harapan. But the pressure is on for Muhyiddin as this GE could be taken as a test for PN's relevance in Malaysia's political fray, especially given that the coalition is still quite a young one. Analysts say that they'll need to clinch at least 30 seats overall in order to be taken seriously at the next GE. But here in Air Hitam in Johor, as we're in the last couple of hours of campaigning season, Barisan Nasional is amping up their campaign game and they're taking that competition very seriously. In fact, as you can tell from this event, it's quite clear that they've spared no expense. Down this side of the road, we see a whole area stretching full of food trucks. And over on this side, we see a huge white tent where over 500 BN supporters are here to throw support for the candidate before the big day. Overall, it does seem that PN cannot be underestimated and coalitions are already starting to see them as legitimate competition. But ultimately, the future of the coalition still lies in the hands of voters on polling day.
That's right, Clara. Power in the hands of the people. Clara Lee there in Johor.
And from the roundup from Alo Star Kedah, we go to Alif Shah. Alif, now former Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad is leading Pejuang and defending his Langkawi parliamentary seat. Will he be successful this time round?
Well, Jill, it looks like the stars could align for Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. After all, he's a well-liked political figure, especially in Langkawi, and political analysts that I've spoken to say that he shouldn't have any problems defending his seat in Langkawi, as well as winning with a convincing majority. And if he wins tomorrow at the age of 97, it will be another milestone in an already prolific political career for him. Now, Dr. Mahathir will, of course, go up against 4 other candidates, 3 from the main coalitions, as well as 1 independent candidate. And Langkawi is, of course, one of 15 federal seats up for grabs in the Kedah state. Now, political observers are also saying that it won't be quite as rosy a picture for the other Pejuang candidates contesting in other states. That's because, especially when it comes to the Malay votes now, Pejuang will face stiff competition when it comes to the Malay-based parties, Barisan Nasional and Perikatan Nasional. And Pejuang is a relatively newer party. For the past 2 weeks of campaigning, it's largely been about walkabouts and smaller get-togethers compared to the larger rallies that we've seen from the other parties. It's also facing challenges like smaller manpower. So whether these will translate into votes and whether these are enough, we'll find out tomorrow.
Indeed. Thanks so much, Alif Shah in Alo Star Kedah.
And Tan Sehui joins us live now from Butterworth in Penang. So we have seen several flash floods in Malaysia in recent days. Is the country ready for bad weather, if there is any, tomorrow on polling day?
As what we know, Malaysia is not ready for bad weather tomorrow. Already there are 3,000 victims from flash floods and floods all over the country. And what we know is that Klang has experienced a lot of flooding in several areas where there are polling stations. And politicians there have been asking the Election Commission, where are the voting contingency plans? But they have received little to no response. And Met Malaysia, the meteorological service, they say that they're expecting some and predicting some thunderstorms at 5 states. This includes Perlis, Pahang, as well as Penang, where I'm at right now. And over at mainland Penang, last week they've experienced flash floods in over 30 areas. And so it's really a problem that they have to address tomorrow. But as we know, here we are at a DAP mega Ceramah. It's the grand finale. And as we can see, there are some tents set up to make sure that people are staying dry at the ceramahs. But a lot of the campaigning efforts have been affected as well over the last few days. And voter turnout may be affected tomorrow. But then again, we've heard many stories of Malaysians saying that they will turn up at voting centres, rain or shine. And this is the spirit that we hear from Malaysians here.
Sehui, thank you for that report. Tan Sehui there from Butterworth in Penang.